my mom, we moved from New Zealand when my mom remarried to my stepdad, who's American. My mom got a degree in chemistry in New Zealand at Waikato University, and at the moment she works at St. Andrew's Episcopal School. She's a kindergarten teacher, which is very different to chemistry. But so she's there, and she's actually going to be doing a master's program. But at the same time, like, the school's paying for it, so she's going to be doing that. And then my dad, which is my stepdad, he went to Troy State University or something. He got a degree in computing and engineering, software engineering, and he works for Lockheed Martin.
Both my parents are from Ethiopia. They immigrated here in the early 80s. My father studied at Howard University, studied political science and international relations. My mother studied mathematics at UDC. My dad is now an analyst at the Congressional Research Service, and my mother is a homemaker.
Well, for me, I always go back to when we've been looking over the college applications and things. I go back to this book that I read in 9th grade, I think, but it wasn't actually any English book or anything. It was The Future of Peace by Scott Hunt. And basically my future goals is to do something that involves traveling. As you can tell, I love to travel, but that basically I see myself in some sort of humanitarian organization or non-government organization that would allow me to, I don't know, in the book he goes and talks to Aung San Suu Kyi in Burma, and the Dalai Lama, and Yasser Arafat in Palestine. So just something that involves international relations is kind of what I think that I'll be doing with college and beyond. But I don't know. We'll see.
I'd like to study international relations, and one of the things that English classes help me with in that field is sort of looking at things with an analytical eye. I read through congressional documents, UN documents, things like that for essays and projects, and I definitely language and the words that politicians will use to express an idea or to make a statement definitely plays a factor in how their view is interpreted, and how the world receives what they have to say. So I definitely want to use writing in whatever way that I can in whatever field of international relations that I pursue.
I began in Death in Venice. Thomas Mann incorporates mythological and mystical diction to illustrate Aschenbach's preoccupation with death and the subsequent change of focus to living and traveling. The main character, Aschenbach, waits near a graveyard for a tram to return home. He beguiles some minutes with reading these formulas, which are the inscriptions on the chapel. The use of beguiled to detail the passing of time conveys an underlying deception, as the main character is in fact losing time in his life and need not waste time waiting for a tram. This partially dark and foreboding tone extends into his ponderance of the engravings, which are meant to lead the dead towards the afterlife. These sayings engross him as he lets his mind's eye lose itself in them, enveloping himself in the dark thoughts of succumbing to death. Aschenbach considers their meaning to be mystical, which illustrates his somewhat detached fascination, as the spirituality of it intrigues him. The idea of death does not perturb him, but rather provides him another setting for his artistic imaginations to thrive in. However, the focus shifts away from preoccupation with death when a stranger brings him back to reality and the world of the living. This man standing on the portico conveys an image of mythological importance, with the portico having columns which recalls the ancient times of the Greeks and Romans. The two apocalyptic beasts that guarded the staircase reinforce the mythological imagery of the scene. The ominous depiction of the statues darkens the view of the stranger, veiling him in a strangely foreboding aura. However, that mystical aspect of the man appeals to Aschenbach's dark fascination and prompts him to take hold of such powerful imagery. His thoughts took a fresh turn, and he resolves to pursue these ancient mythological references and ends up in Venice, a city of mystical importance, and his final trip.
The purpose of literature, Flaubert asserts in his letter, is to teach, not to preach. In order to teach, one must use les justes mots to provide a rich portrait that conveys the essence of human nature in its totality. Mere preaching and didacticism is two-dimensional. It rests upon twisting the story to fit the author's predispositions rather than conveying a story through the characters. In the passage above, where Emma Bovary takes her last wretched breaths, the narrator recounts the tepid consideration with which the priest, Father Bernesian, administers the last rites. Father Bernesian's actions expose the facade of holiness he attempts to erect. Verbs suggesting callousness and apathy contradict the sanctified nature of the last rites, highlighting their purpose in organized religion as vapid symbols used to spread the church's doctrine. After smoothing the holy oils over Emma, Bernesian, quote, wipes his fingers as if to cleanse himself of the dirt on Emma's body. He concentrates on his personal sanitation rather than Emma's salvation. His impertinence becomes most striking when he, quote, throws the oil-soaked wads of cotton. Bernesian callously tosses the cotton wads away as if he would like nothing more than to be done with the exasperating task of guiding the souls to heaven. The cotton wads are interestingly oil-soaked, perhaps in reference to the superfluous quality of these lavish ceremonies and the apathy with which they are administered.